Like, dude, I'm feeling it now. It must be time.
2,
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Damn, son.
Which, by the way, that's the name of my podcast. If you ever check it out, Psychological Warfare, please feel free to check it out anywhere. Psychological Warfare, it says Veteran Comedian Savage. And we're back.
What's up, birds? Welcome back to the nest. If you're new to the tree, welcome to the branch. Today's bird is well done. And I don't mean that as in the steak that gets well done and you have to chew it for 2 or 3 days. We're talking raw dog. We're talking big dog. We're talking Benji. Well done. Welcome to Two Birds, One Stoned.
Yes. Technicality. Excuse me, technicality. English isn't really my first language. I mean, it is, but it's just... So technically, my nickname is Benja, but everyone says Benji because Benja is just a nickname from Benjamin. When my wife and I, we started dating, she said there was too many white people named Benjamin, so I'm going to call you Benja. And I said, well, you're hot. You can call me what you want. So, but it's kind of thing. It's like a Starbucks order. If you get something that's like 4 to 5 letters right, you know, do you really want to correct it? I remember actually one time, it's actually one of my jokes. I talk about how I hate accent marks because the English language is like one of the only languages that you can write stuff and it can be pronounced multiple different ways, which actually reminds me, I do have a gift for you.
Oh, we love gifts here.
Yeah, I actually.
But you know what's funny? This whole time I have been saying Benja, and then I was like, I don't know if I'm saying it right, so I'm going to say Benji.
No,
and
it's
then
okay.
So
first off, okay, I got you a book.
Ooh.
Okay, which I think can help not just in your comedy, but everybody's comedy. It's Reed's Homophones. If you don't know what it is,
phones.
Okay, right. So there's homonyms and homophones. So the basic difference in homophones are basically sound-alike words.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I think that if you use this, it's a dictionary of all different kinds of words that are pronounced exactly right, alike, but written differently. And then there's homonyms, which if I'm saying it correctly, all right, it's spelled and written exactly alike, but it means 2 complete different things. You know what I mean? So anyway, I just think that a book with all sorts of homos would be something that you would have fun looking at.
Well, thank you, sir.
Absolutely.
I do love this because whenever I was like writing music and stuff, I would go on this thing and type in, like, I'd put absurd and then every word that rhymed with absurd.
Yeah.
Absurd, word, heard, curd.
So, like, do you know how to spell C? Spell it real quick.
S-I.
That's true. Okay.
That was the Mexican
American kind.
Oh, S-E-E.
Okay. No, that's wrong.
Shit.
It's S-E-A because I didn't tell you which kind.
True.
And that's the whole thing is that you can use it for like tons of like play on words and stuff. The second thing that I got you, I thought that you would like this.
Oh, dude, yes.
I got you a matroshka.
Matroshka?
Yeah, it's called matroshka, which in Russia, it means it's like a Russian, it's like a nesting. Here, you can open it up. And it keeps opening up more and more and more.
Does it just pops?
Yeah, you know, just twist it, yeah. Keep going. Keep going.
I've seen this before. Oh.
Keep going.
Uh-oh.
I think there's one more. There you go.
Hey, this looks like my prima.
Yeah, and also I brought an American flag just to represent the country that just the takeover of America. Like the red, white, and the blue.
Yes.
I think it's actually upside down. Let me fix this American flag real quick. I think the red goes on top.
You seen a blue streak
Blue. You said Blue Streak?
Yeah, with Martin Lawrence.
Oh yeah, it's a classic film.
When he's like, I represent the red, the white,
and the green.
And then he's like,
that's a classic
green.
film. I need to watch that.
I fucking
again.
love that movie.
It's
dude.
also a really great film. It's called Nothing to Lose. It's similar with money in a certain way. Nothing to Lose. It has Tim Robbins and
oh yeah, it's Tim Robbins and Martin Lawrence. Yeah,
again.
I used to watch that movie growing up.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Also, I brought some candy.
Ooh.
Okay.
You know my fat ass loves some candy.
Yes. There you go. Brought some candy too.
Oh.
Comes from Russia. No reason why. I just thought I would just.
Dude, that's amazing.
It's really good. And if by chance, hopefully you don't have a drug test to take. This is also Russian. It's a poppy seed roulette. It's really, really amazing. Ooh. And you can just put it somewhere, anywhere and stuff. I actually got into it a little bit in the car, but I use a knife.
Mm-hmm. Knife.
A knife, yeah, man. But it's extremely good. And these, I just by chance happened to see these at your local Allsup's gas station, which really just shows my patriotism for the red, white, and the blue. America.
We bleed red, white, and blue over here.
I think it's funny that so many countries actually have red, white, and blue as their colors.
It is weird.
But America's is the best one because we have ninja stars.
Yeah.
I mean, bro, like, if Donald Trump does any next move in the White House, I hope he makes the American flag like instead of stars, I want bullets. You know what I mean? That would be pretty cool.
What kind of bullets? 9mm, 45?
45.
Yeah.
Because the 45th president.
Yeah.
And you know what? I want him to actually leave some space on the flag, okay? And to have that represent the countries that are one day going to be America that just aren't right now. You know what I mean? What was it like? Not Denmark, Iceland, bro. Mm-hmm. I think it's gonna happen. I think it's gonna happen. I think it's Iceland. It's either Iceland or Greenland.
Well, see, I remember growing up, they called it Greenland because
it has a lot of ice.
Yeah,
and Iceland. I just know that
maybe it's just global warming finally kicked in and it switched.
It could have. It's funny because I don't care what you think about his politics, but okay, for example, Barack Obama was never funny. That's fine. He doesn't have to be. Whatever. Love him or hate him. Biden, never funny. George Bush. George Bush is pretty funny, but
he was fucking hilarious,
but not on purpose.
Yeah,
not on purpose. He would just do
that was just dumb luck.
He was
funny.
Just being dumb all the time. He was like, "We're looking for women's breasts and brightest to really help with the endowment of our future of America."
I like how they portrayed him on Harold and Kumar when he's all like, "Oh shit, come on, that guy scares the hell out of me."
I think I got to see that. Some of these references are so good, but yeah. Oh, but Donald Trump. I remember mentioning global warming coming full swing. I remember one time he was during his first presidency. Somebody was talking about like global warming. He would always come out to like that podium in the White House, and he would do like a one guy like open mic show. You know what I mean? I remember one time he would troll people all the time. He would just say stuff to make them go crazy, like Democrats and stuff. Regardless of your politics, that's the truth, right? And he was like, "Oh yeah, the war, this and that, and something else." And he started talking, and then right before he left, he was like, "By the way, I think I believe in global warming." And he just started walking away, and everyone was like, "Ooh, wait a minute, he's coming around." He was like, "I think something might be changing," and he was like, "Mr. President." You always hear them trying to get one more question, like. So he turns around, he's like, "Yeah, what is it?" He was like, "Well, what's the sudden change?" He was just like, "It's got to be. Can't you tell from all the snowflakes that are melting? Look at you guys." Just like that. Just like that. And I was like, this guy is hilarious. He was just like, of course global warming isn't real. He was like, it gets hotter. He was like, it gets hot. He was like, it gets hotter, it gets cold. Turn on some air conditioning. Just point it outside. It'll be fine. Yeah. Like, who says turn your AC outside to help with like.
For real.
Like all the stuff off the cuff.
That ain't helping shit, but the electric company get money.
Yeah, I know all the stuff that he says all the time. Like, would you really want to have a president realistically? Again, regardless of your politics, say he was a Democrat, okay? And then all of a sudden all the Democrats can love him, okay? But regardless, like Republican, Democrat aside, wouldn't you love to have a guy who was a successful multi-billionaire, okay, who made his own money. Yeah, he had a lot of money that he had bring into it, but he grew that. If I gave you $100, could you turn that into $1 million?
No.
Maybe. Don't sell yourself short, bro. He was quick to like tell your wife that. Your wife's gonna be so disappointed. She'd be like, "Wait a minute, he made a lot of good sense. You should be able to take. Here's $100. Come back." It also kind of impresses me when you just think about like life in the wilderness. Like if you were a squirrel, I look at squirrels all the time and I freak out. You know what I mean? I'm like, how did you make it through the night, let alone the winter?
For real. You're hiding in a tree. What's in the tree?
Yeah, you know, like if I told you to go to the woods, okay, and make a microphone, you can do that? What about just surviving? How long do you use to just survive in the woods?
First thing I would start is a fire. That'd be my first.
Yeah, but what are you gonna use to have a fire? You're gonna use like dried leaves and more dried leaves? You're gonna just be like, I saw it happen in a film.
No.
You know what? What did you see? That's your reference?
No, I'd build like a little teepee of sticks, and I'd put the leaves in it, and then I'd get some rocks and fucking.
Okay. You're just gonna get random rocks.
No, not just any rock. You can't just get
but
any
you know,
rock.
there's got to be people who probably in the wilderness they took like
just regular rocks.
They took like 2 pieces of concrete from like a broken brick, and they're just like, I saw it. It's like this.
All they're doing is just
God's
making
just
dust.
looking down on them, and just like, you'll be first.
Yeah.
But like, I'll see you soon. You know what I mean?
COVID should have taken you.
Yeah, man. But point is that Donald Trump, he is always just saying like the craziest stuff. But wouldn't you love to know the fact that you have a president who is can't say he's not successful. Even if you hate him, can't say he's got his own like gold plated jet, you know, like a gold toilet and like gold toilet paper probably, and like gold caps. Who knows? I mean, who knows? But not even that. They say everyone says that privately he's completely different compared to as he is on camera, just like most actors or celebrities are, or something like that. And also who his enemies are constantly, he's just talking to his enemies or, you know, anyway, he's like, you're not America. You're not one of us. I want to do what's best. America first, right? Don't be political, but that's just what he says, right?
It's like every other country.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm trying to tote like a fine line of not like leaning over in one direction to not like lose half the audience or something like that as far as like politics goes. But these are just undeniable facts. He is successful, okay? He does say wild and crazy stuff, but in the circumstance that he was a Democrat, okay, hypothetically, if he was the exact guy, I want to know, even if he was a Democrat, that he was successful in business prior to becoming a politician, because politician, you don't ever have to manage anything.
Yeah.
Like in the military, if you become a certain rank, after a while, you have to go to WLC, which means Warrior Leadership Course, or something else in different branches and stuff. It's basically like managerial school, and you have to pass it in order to get your rank before you actually get platoon and troops and stuff like that. And that kind of education system continues. You could be the president. You could have never managed anything ever. And as long as you could have been hot on TikTok, and this country says that if you have enough followers, enough people vote for you, even if you were just Instagram famous, you could be the leader of America, which is crazy. You could have no experience at all. So I feel like, again, even if he was a Democrat, my point is that you would want to know that he was successful in business. He's calculated inside and outside. People think that he's crazy as all hell. And he says stuff and backs it up to show that if he says something crazy, he might actually pull that card. He said one of the most mind-trippy things I ever heard the other day. He said, so confusing, but it's just like psychological warfare, which I love. Which, by the way, that's the name of my podcast. If you ever check it out, Psychological Warfare, please feel free to check it out anywhere. Psychological Warfare, it says Veteran Comedian Savage. And we're back. All right. But
that's going to be a little commercial.
Yeah, I know. But it's funny because he said the other day one of the most psychologically warfare confusing things I've ever heard. He said he came out to that little podium. He said that he gave Iran an ultimatum, or he gave them like essentially like, you have up until this time. He said I called up the, you know, whatever leader of Iran is, and I told him they have until noon to decide about my last offer in a peace deal. We're going to take out all of your electricity. We're going to take out, we're just going to have a historic bombing run. We will make historic records today by noon. You have by noon to decide. Me, I'm going to side by 11. And it's like, what does that even mean?
Yeah, like, what do you mean? What?
Wait, so, but what does that mean?
It's basically saying whatever you decide at 12 doesn't matter because I'm deciding it at 11.
It kind of makes it
That's
sound like
basically
that.
what he said.
It could also mean, and then people, and then it's just like, it's ambiguous. Like, I'm not even really sure if they had a follow up. Like, does that mean that you might decide what you want to do at 11, or that means that until after 11 you might not follow through with it until 12? He's just like, he just walks away. Like, if your wife said, I need you here by no later than 9 p.m. I need you to pick this up no later than 9 p.m. But I need you to be back and home with it no later than 8 p.m. You'd be like, what does the first part mean? What does the second part mean?
It means you pick it up the day before.
Exactly, right? So I just think I think it's great having a guy, regardless of his politics. I hate how everything is like 50% with politics. I just want to pay less and own more and make more money. I think that's like something that everybody can like collectively agree in. Mm-hmm. If Donald was a Democrat and nothing changed, okay, regardless of the D or the R, I wouldn't care. I'm gonna be honest. I don't even vote. I could vote. But really, I feel like, I know this is a bad thing to say, but I feel like if I have a chance and I know which direction, if I felt like it was going to be close, if I really did, I would vote. But when Barack was going to become president, I was like, I'm not even going to leave my house.
I remember I was in 8th grade.
And he won his first one exponentially.
Yeah.
It was such a shoe-in because they're like, oh, we're breaking records and stuff. And then people got to be weird about it and throw
He's
him
black.
Yeah. People are like, yeah, he's black. And I'm like, yeah, I know that. Like, he's from Africa. Okay, well, how far long ago?
Yeah, because technically we all are.
I mean, yeah.
I remember in 8th grade too, because they did like some stupid thing where they had like the kids come up and like in the lunchroom and they're all like, oh, vote for who you'd want to be president. And I was all looking and I'm like, Barack Obama. I'm like, that sounds cool. So I just checked it.
Yeah.
And then he became president. And I was like, that's me. You're welcome.
Yeah, but but see, then Barack became president again, and it was or it would have been Mitt Romney, and I hate to say it, but not disrespecting anybody. However, I don't think America was ready for a Mormon president. I think he's Mormon. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you? Okay, so what was I about to say?
Something in English.
Oh yeah. Como estes? Do you think that a lot of the presidents within the past 20 years, the only reason they became president is because everybody was like, well, I don't want the other person to become president?
I think yes and no. And then I have an interesting random fact to share with you. So I think there's people that vote for somebody else because they don't want somebody to win. I think and that's a proactive measure. Mm-hmm. I think a reactive measure is if somebody isn't motivated by their candidate, they'll just stay home. So they're helping the other side win. You know what I mean? So the motivation can be because they don't like somebody. It could be like a Republican that doesn't like a Democrat, or it could be maybe a Democrat that doesn't like their own Democratic candidate. So that goes, and that exact formula works in both directions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if Hillary Clinton said that she wanted to be president, right? And she wanted to run as a Republican, I'm not going to vote for her. I'm not, But if Donald Trump said he would be a Democrat, and I felt like with all the momentum that he was still going to do it, it's not that I wouldn't vote against him. You know what I mean? But I wouldn't necessarily like leave my house where I feel like it's a shoo-in for a good result. And if I didn't feel motivated for a bad result, I wouldn't. You know what I mean? It's like sales. Like you gotta. Like it's such a creepy, weird thing when politicians start going places and they start using accents they've never had.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Like they start trying to like fit in with the crowd or whatever and stuff. And it's like you're a fucking millionaire. Get
like
away.
Hillary Clinton. She went to somewhere and she's like, "How y'all doing today? I tell you what, I just had some brisket and some
sweet
tea this morning. It was great." And everyone, all like the talking sheep, are like, "Say it louder." I say, "Yeehaw!" You know what I mean? Like, so it's a very creepy thing. And then Donald's just like, I'm not going to go out this time. I'm not going to go to debates. I'm going. You remember that? Like his last election, he's just like, what do I have? He's just like, why? He's just like, I'm leading in all the polls. He's like, the closest one to me is 36% behind me. I'm good.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm good. But yeah, man. So, but I hate the fact that like, if you're a Democrat or Republican, you can't just be Team America. It's, just.
Fuck yeah.
Sorry. It's a strange thing. Like, I don't get it. Like,
yeah, why are we at each other's throats? Do we not live in the same country? Like,
it's so strange. Now, like, again, I'm really not trying to turn political. However, people think it's controversial to talk about, like, not even talk about, but just like to look at things that are completely illegal in other countries and call them legal here. Like, I think it was I heard somebody say the other day that they were going to try to make non-residents in the state of California, even if you're a permanent resident, I don't think that gives you the right to vote. I'm pretty sure. But they were talking about as long as you lived in the state of California, you should be able to vote for your governor, city officials, mayors, etc. It's kind of weird because that means like if you were visiting from like another country, just like be like, what you do? Went to a matinee. They had bad weather. Went to the beach. Voted. You know what I mean?
Just
like,
casual. Just
yeah,
voted.
it's just like, yeah,
I was just in town and they were having a voting thing, so I just popped in.
Then again, I got to be honest. If I was in another country, even as a visitor, all right, if I could vote, I'd probably vote in a foreign election.
Yeah.
Just to say that I did, if it wasn't illegal.
I voted in America.
Yeah, I think it
That's
would be
Brazilian.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's where my wife is. My wife is from Brazil. Yeah, it's funny because we have an awesome daughter. She's a little over 3, and it's crazy because she speaks English and Portuguese, and because that's what they speak in Brazil. They speak Portuguese, right? But it's funny because most people don't. You know that, but most people don't. They don't. They think that she speaks Spanish, which is unfortunate because my wife understands it, so she just gets angry and starts saying, like, imagine saying to somebody in Spanish that I don't speak Spanish. You're gonna be like, that's somebody being like, hey, Haga, sorry, I don't speak English, so let's just not have any more of this conversation about me speaking English because clearly I don't speak it, and let's just not talk about this. Let's talk about something else in a language I don't speak. It's very awkward, but yeah, it's funny because my daughter, she calls me papai, which is like Portuguese for papa. And my wife, Mamai. And even though she's like yay tall, I still feel like she's smarter than me all the time. She makes me feel so dumb. Like I have this stuffed doll, and it looks like the Incredible Hulk. And she was putting, my wife said something like, hey, honey, could you turn on the heat? It's a little cold in here. And all of a sudden, my daughter, Helena, she gets up and she gets ready to go to her bedroom, and she comes out with a Hulk and a pair of jeans, and she gets ready to start to put it on him. And I said, what are you doing? She's like, didn't you hear? It's cold and he's only wearing shorts. And I'm like, I'm like, it makes sense. And this, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, like, she starts to get like a winter jacket and puts around him. And I was just like, well, he's radioactive, so he stays warm. She's like, oh, okay, so no jacket. I was like, no jacket. And she was like, just a shirt. I was like, okay, yeah, man. So do you ever want to have a family one day, you know?
Ugh.
I had the exact, not just knee jerk, but like jaw jerk
I just
reaction.
did that and I just cramped up in my jaw just now. That kind of hurt.
I actually thought that I knew how I thought it would be like, I'm being honest. I really thought that like having a bigger family outside of like just me and my wife or whatever would be like a time constraint and a burden. And I was like, oh, I got so much freedom. I had somebody actually, a really good friend of mine actually told me that thinking that you not having like a son or daughter, whatever, fill in the blank, whatever, right? Is kind of like the equivalent of thinking, do you know what's in here, by the way?
It's the next door.
That's the next door, okay.
Or next room.
You know what a closet is. Smart guy. You probably know the dimensions of a basic closet. Even if you're a multi-gazillionaire, it's gonna end at a certain level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not that big. He basically told me that going from having like no son/daughter to having one all of a sudden is the equivalent of thinking that you knew what a hall closet was until one day you open that door and it was the entrance into a completely different house. I I was like, that's trippy.
That is trippy.
Because the thing is, you think you know the confines of how great it is. And then you have it and it opens up so much more. It's just like, I couldn't imagine, like, however many years ago, I don't have to think that hard. But anyway, before I had, right? And not having my daughter, how happy I thought I was compared to now. If I compare it, I was just like, oh my gosh. It's like, there was a film Steven Spielberg made. I think it was called like Close Encounters or something.
Close Encounters with the Fourth Kind.
There you go. You know what? I don't care what David says when he's not around.
Yeah. Because he's not fat anymore.
Because he's, exactly. As a matter of fact,
he's
you
not
lost
around.
so much weight, I can't even see you.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
He's so tiny.
He's so tiny. He's cute. I just gonna put him in my
He's
pocket.
actually the little doll inside.
He's actually one more of. He's actually opened up one more inside the tiniest one, and it's David. But yeah, I couldn't even imagine like how happy I am with her because she adds so much to my humor, to my comedy, my sensibility and stuff. And it's. I think you should definitely do it. First off, getting there is a lot of fun.
Tune in for the Patreon for that video.
However, once you actually go through that moment, I mean, I'm just telling you, it's so crazy. You got a puppy at your house or anything like that?
I have 4 dogs, 5 cats, 3 fish.
Okay, imagine this. Take all of that love out of your life.
Oh my God.
Okay, now no, but here's my point. You thought that you were happy before having that, right?
I never said that.
That's true. That's true. I did. But let's just imagine that you didn't have that.
Yeah.
Knowing that they are in your life, that adds value, right? All right. Now, if you were to subtract that, that would mean that you lost that value, hypothetically. Before having that value, try to keep this all in your mind, right? You're at the, you don't really, before you had that value, that love of those, call it 11, right? You don't really know what you're missing, so you can't really compare to anything. But now that you have that, you can't compare. When you have a family, it's a different way of also being able to say that you can't compare, because that Close Encounters of like the Fourth Kind. There was a guy, Steven Spielberg was once interviewed, and he said that when he made that, he didn't have any sons or daughters or whatever, however many he has now, right? And he said that if he made that film, apparently at the end of the film, like the father leaves his family behind so that he can go. And he said if he remade that film today, he would change the ending, because he couldn't ever imagine a father ever actually leaving. He said it would be a different twist on the film, like a never-ending thought, like what could have been. But he said that he could never imagine like what it would be like leaving your children home now that he actually has them. And that's come from Steven Spielberg.
Yeah. Well,
so,
there was that one zombie movie where he like, that family's in that house, and then the husband's like, kind of like, I'll be right back. And then he leaves, and she like looks out the window and sees him running, and she's like, what the fuck?
yeah.
I mean, I would like to have a kid one day and stuff. Me and my wife have talked about it.
That you have it, I promise you right now, it is going to be, it is like, you know, there's that weird phrase, it's all downhill from here, which doesn't make sense, because going down on a bicycle, you know what I mean? You thought about that before?
Yeah.
That never makes sense to me. Going downhill on a bicycle when you can go no hands, no feet, you know what I mean? It's just one of the best feelings.
Yeah, because you're cruising to a
You're
point
just
to where you're
cruising.
going to hit and either go straight or you're going to hit and go right back up.
I think what that means is basically like, it's not going to get any better.
Yeah.
It's like going downhill, but uphill.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's like, imagine, even better, imagine going uphill freestyle like this. Woo.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it's like, because every single day it's like a new adventure, something crazy, something new. And when you come home and you have your puppies and your everything, that love is compounded. You know what I mean? And then when you have someone that you actually, that is now part of your life, that comes from you and your wife, that's compounded into like a mathematical equation that can't even be like recognized with by like infinity. You say you love your wife?
Which
Okay.
one? No. I'm married to the game. I'm married. No.
But you know what I mean? And but the thing is that I feel like, do you ever feel like you procrastinate?
All the time.
that will also make you. You know what's crazy is I don't want to say afraid. I don't like using these words, but reservations. I try to be as specific as possible with words because I don't like any negative subconscious creeping in there. You know what I mean? I'm like that. So I actually had reservations for the longest of having a bigger family than just me and my wife. However, because I thought that I would have more time. What's crazy is now that I have my daughter, I get more done. It's the opposite.
Yeah.
I'm more proactive and I procrastinate less and I get more done with her than without. You would not think that, the math.
I think it's just because if you really, I'm from my point of view, it's like you're having to take care.
Exactly.
You're having to take care of a human and you're trying to be like, hey, like, I want you to be a good person. All of those,
and you know what the craziest part is that all that's extremely temperamental because my daughter, even though she's like 3 and some change, she will not let me do anything for her. She's extremely dependent, okay? Cool. But the thing is, for the years that she wants me to help her, those are, ironically enough, the years that you're going to want the most because after a while, she's not going to ask you to get her anything, and you're going to miss out on that. So when you come home, and she, you know how like in wrestling, there's like a double leg takedown? There's also a single leg takedown, which is just, it's called a single leg. You just grab on one leg and you drag them to the ground or pick them up. It's called a high crotch, regardless, getting out of this. All right.
Join the Patreon for that video.
Yeah. But it's funny because when you come home and you have something that is of you and your wife, unlike your puppies, which come from you, it's a different level. And, when they just run and hug and attack you, and she just looks up at you like you're water, like for love and survival, just not because she needs you, but she just needs your love. It's like an absorption. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like all the time, my daughter, she would be like, "Hey, Popeye, can you sit down with me?" I haven't ever had a puppy do that. First off, they don't speak English.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But secondly, it's just one of the most overwhelming things. It's like if I have a cup of water and here's my last analogy. If you had a glass and you know exactly how much water can fill that glass just by basically looking at the basic dimensions of it, okay? And then behind me, I had a pitcher and I said, this is how much love she gives you. And then I pour it in up to the point and then it continues to overflow. It's so much more than your mind can even deal with it. You're going to want to go home and be like, everything in your body, because you've been doing the exact thing the entire time you've been married, is saying like, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. And all of a sudden you're like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And you're like, it's too late. It's too late. Sorry, we'll grab it right. And then
we're
all
30 minutes in, you can say
all of a
whatever.
sudden people are always like, oh, don't do this or don't do that or don't get her, whatever,
mm-hmm.
right? And then one day, all of a sudden, all those red flags that say don't do this, all of a sudden it happened, especially if it was on purpose. And you're like, it's kind of like if I said if I rammed into a vehicle, I get to keep that car, plus I get another car, and there is no damage. None of it makes any sense. Everything that's always, it's like running a marathon. It's the equivalent of like running a marathon while everyone else is running the opposite direction, telling you don't do this. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I'm telling you, you've definitely got to do it. You got to do it. So I think you need to do it.
Think about it.
There's no.
I know it's kind of off topic, but you were saying like it's kind of like a puppy or whatever, or like a dog can't talk or whatever. I had this joke way back in the day that was like, and I was walking down the street, and I walked past this fence, and there was this dog, and he was just like mean mugging the fuck out of me. So I looked at him and I said, "What's up, dog?" And you know what he said? Roof. He's a dog. He can't talk.
I actually heard it. I'm not going to try to say it, but I heard a joke, something about Joe Rogan one time. He was talking about like he smoked a lot of marijuana and he was really high, and he was saying something along the lines of like he was saying a joke where he was watching a commercial about not smoking, and it was like some puppy talking about, you remember that?
Yeah,
About, so he was saying something like, hey, drugs are bad.
You don't walk me anymore since you started smoking pot.
Yeah. That's what it was. And the what's crazy
all like
is,
this.
Yeah. And he was like, all of a sudden he started feeling bad about it. And he said, until he said that joke one night on stage, and a guy came up to him and said, hey, listen, man, I'm the one that actually made that commercial. He was like, I was super high when I made it. That's the only way I could think about making, he was like, that's the only way I could think about making a don't do drugs is by getting high. And that's what I thought of. He's like, it makes sense. You had to be high to think about.
Think about every musician and artist, just most of them were high or drunk.
Yeah. Yeah. I hate to say it, but I don't want to say bring drugs back, because that would be irresponsible. Music would be so much better. Creativity would be better.
Make drugs without fentanyl in it.
Yeah, that's I like that one.
Bring back non-fentanyl drugs.
I kind of feel like, and this is like weird to say, but hear what I'm saying. Hypothetically, if drugs were legal, if everyone could do any drug they wanted to.
I mean, you can in Washington.
I know that, which is crazy.
But you can't have plastic straws. You can take away our plastic straws, but you can't take up our rolled up dollar bills.
But yeah, hypothetically, if all drugs were legal, okay, it wouldn't change the fact that whoever wants to use crack legally or illegally would still do it.
Yeah.
The only difference is nobody wouldn't be in cages anymore. Cartel couldn't make money off of it.
So what do you think the place, like, do you think there would be a better place or would it be worse?
I think it would be better. I think, well, here's what I think. I think long-term it would be better, but short-term it would spike.
Yeah.
Because everyone would be like, woohoo, I'm going to try it.
And then,
But I think there's enough data and video of everybody being high or doing any, filling the kind of blank, the kind of drug or whatever, that they already know without doing it.
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to eat poop to know it tastes bad.
Well,
yeah, you know, which is interesting. I think it's called like your olfactory. Like your nose and tongue somehow, some way are connected. So if your nose is like, hey, that meat's rotten, your tongue isn't like, let me test it.
yeah, you're not going to be like,
It tastes bad too, nose. It's like they're talking to each other. Nose is like, I try to warn you. And mouth is just like, shut up, nose. You knows too much.
I was just about to say that. He's like, you were right. I knows.
He knows too much. Oh man, David, so good to have you here. Yeah, like it's I think that if drugs were illegal, I mean, if drugs were legal, all of them, okay, hypothetically, whoever smokes weed would continue to smoke weed. They just, you know, maybe they could buy it from a legal source. Whoever did any form of heroin or crack or any of these horrible drugs would continue to do it, okay? But the only thing that would happen is, realistically, in my opinion, people would be more educated faster, which I don't think they need to be. It's 2026. There's enough information on drugs being bad, especially the kind of drugs, you know? Like no one ever heard of marijuana that didn't hear about crack. No one was like, oh, marijuana, it's like crack. And you're like, I don't want to try it then. Like,
Yeah.
never, you know what I mean? Like, they're two completely different things.
Well, there is a weed strand called green crack. And I
How
remember
would you know that?
Because I've tried it.
Oh,
Because I remember we were sitting on the porch on the steps and they were like, yeah, some new bud called green crack. And I was like, I'm okay. And they were like, no, not like crack cocaine. I'm like, I'm still okay.
I'm still
okay.
yeah, anything with crack in it.
I took one hit and I was like, oh.
I like how you said, like, no way will I do it twice.
Twice, yeah.
But
4 times.
Yeah, 10 times max.
But I mean, it was the 10th time and then I was like, all right, I'm done.
All right, I'm done. And then just once a week since then.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny.
6 years ago.
Yeah, 2 days ago. Technically, I got to take a quick smoke break. I'll be
Yeah.
right back.
We'll be back after this commercial break. I come back, I'm like,
But yeah, it's funny because like I think that if you have a job, if you have to go to work tomorrow, you're going to be responsible. I think the only thing that would happen is, and this is a maybe, is the amount of police responses would have to do more about car collisions, which makes sense. Okay, but they would still they're not getting arrested because alcohol is illegal. They would getting arrested because they're doing it while under the influence. So I think that would be one thing that would maybe increase. And then secondly, the amount of house calls I get, or people thinking that they're literally attached to the ceiling and stuff like that, that might go up a little bit. Or anything more serious health-wise from overdosing or stuff like that. People overdose all the time. They live.
Yeah, I did.
There you go.
The 2 days or 3 days before Christmas.
Yeah, but you get what I'm saying. So, I mean, it doesn't really... I just think that police and prisons and stuff like that would have a lot less responses if, I mean, people had to get jobs. They couldn't, like, imagine if just think about it like this, if drug dealers, if they did not exist, that's a lot of money.
I wouldn't have most of this equipment. No.
But yeah, I mean, it wouldn't change the fact that, like, home invasions might still happen. That happens even now. If anything, drugs would be less expensive.
Yeah. But then eventually it'd be like gas and go up.
Maybe. But the thing is, it wouldn't be anywhere near as dangerous. Like, a cop would never have to worry. Like, how often do you think police get dispatch calls for illegal alcohol sales? Probably, right, exactly. So you see what I'm saying? So the likelihood of it involving police and the danger and shooting and then smuggling and this and that, just make it all legal, because at the end of the day, I'm not using green crack. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's my 2 cents on it. Which, by the way, that's the name of my podcast. If you ever check it out, Psychological Warfare, please feel free to check it out anywhere. Psychological Warfare. It says Veteran Comedian Savage. And we're back. And now back to our break. Yeah, man. But that's my 2 cents. What about you?
I used to be on drugs pretty bad.
Really? All of them?
Damn near. I was doing fentanyl before it was cool.
Really? Yeah.
We were getting them in little capsules, and I mean, I'm not bullshitting you, like just the little pills that you can kind of pull apart. Mm-hmm. You only have to take just a little bit out of the cap and you'd be like.
So what changed? Did you meet Jesus?
Well, the alcohol poisoning and OD.
What does the T stand for, by the way?
Well, it's a cross, but it's actually...
I'm messing with you.
It's actually
one of my favorite jokes.
It's actually upside down. It's actually supposed to...
Okay. Yeah.
I love doing that with church people too. I like your cross. I'm like, oh shit, that's upside down. And they're like...
Man.
No, when I had alcohol poisoning and OD, and when I woke up in the hospital, the cop that was at the end of my bed, the first thing I thought of was like, fuck, I'm going to jail. So I'm like, shit.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we're talking, right? And then, I was like, damn, I need to get my shit straight. And then I asked the cop what his name was, and his name was, so I was like, oh, I'm in hell. I'm like, you got me. But no, I, just that. And then like, it was one of those, like, when that happened,
that was like a life-changing moment.
It was because like I realized who my friends were at the time, because a lot of them were kind of like, oh, just throw him in his truck, or there was one dude that did call the cops, and it actually had alcohol poisoning right over here, right behind, like on the square, in the back alleyway of that bar that's across the street. Well, wake up in the hospital, go through all that bullshit or whatever, and I come out and I'm just like, dude, I can't do this, because I wanted to start this shit back then. But I was all having too much fun, which I'm kind of glad I did, because now I don't have the urge to go out and get fucked up until 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
Now imagine if you had a daughter. She wouldn't want her to see you like that as well. And you know what's funny is, I mean, even now, okay? Well, actually, go ahead. I don't interrupt. Go ahead and finish. I'm just trying to.
Well, I mean, it was just one of those, like, I would go around and I'd hang around the people that I was doing drugs with and stuff. Well, whenever they'd be like, you want something? I'm like, no, I'm good, or whatever. They were like,
around there.
They were like, well, are you like working with the cops or something? Why aren't you doing the drugs anymore? And I'm like, well, I mean, I just died like last week, but whatever, I'm just trying to better my health, but whatever. And then it was one of those, like, that I started realizing that people were stealing from me and doing all this shit or whatever. So I was like, I got to get out of this. And it was literally just like, I just quit. Same with like That's cigarettes great, and I mean, everything. There was a lot of stuff that I just quit. And that was like the worst days, the coming back to life, basically, you're basically crawling out of the fucking grave.
There's actually a phrase for the guys and gals that go in the other direction. They call it like chasing something, or it pretty much has to do with finding that drug or whatever it was to get back to that moment because it was such a good high. You've heard about that, right?
Yeah, chasing the white dragon. Well, chasing the dragon.
Yeah, something like that.
White dragon would be like Coke or whatever.
Yeah, but whatever, regardless.
That's the stuff Donald Trump has in his hair.
Yeah. I don't really know what accent that was, but I do approve. It was pretty good. It was
It was
awesome.
a Herbert from Family Guy.
Oh, okay.
Got some popsicles.
Oh, yeah. That's creepy.
Hey there, sonny boy.
I was going to say, like, again, if you have a family, like if you got, I'm just throwing in the blank, a daughter, right? All of a sudden, you're going to want to be more successful because here's my motivation and my inspiration. I want to have so much money that me and my daughter and my wife, I'm sorry, I hate to say it at the end. Sorry. Moving on. I want to have so much money that me and my daughter and my wife can just hang out and go on vacations and have a great time all the time. And she's my daughter is legitimately like my number one biggest inspiration. That's why I try to work as hard as I can in comedy to do as much as that I can. And I heard the great David Goggins say recently that you don't stop when you're tired, you stop when you're done. And that's like one completed task. It doesn't mean like, if you think of it like long-term, like a mission statement, that doesn't, it's really not really definitive. But if you break it up into task-oriented stuff, you're gonna get a lot more stuff done. Plus, I'm a lot more proactive now because I might have something that I'm doing with her, like her private swim lessons. She's a freak athletically, or any other number of things. But I don't want to live my life for 40 hours a week at a time, going paycheck to paycheck, kind of a thing. As you always hear everybody always saying, right?
Kind of me right now.
Yeah, it's kind of like everybody
right now. Yeah,
kind of everybody right now, right? And then furthermore, the idea of being away from her for 40 hours a week, and then also, at night, not going to bed, the lights are off and everything. That's like a third of, so you get like a third of your life for someone you think is so cool. Wouldn't it be cool if you had 2/3 of your life, if you didn't have to work? The harder you work now, it's like they say plant your corn early kind of a thing. That moment that you had was like you opening up a pair of eyes that you didn't know were already like in your head, right? That was like that eye-opening moment, okay? And then when you have a family, it's like your eyes, it's like another set of eyelids open up all of a sudden, and you see the world not just different, but you're more ambitious. I'm more ambitious now than ever before, because again, if I can be so successful in comedy, ultimately I would love to get into acting because from all the books I've read, and I try to read as much as possible, I love audio. Audible is the best.
Today's sponsor.
Yeah, today's sponsor.
Not Audible, but it could be.
It could be one day, right? We'll look into it. But basically, I don't want to have to like work for 40 hours a week, and I think it would be great if you had 2/3 of your life just be able to spend with that. But as long as you make enough money and you work hard enough, you can actually achieve that. But what's your inspiration? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be cool that you had enough money, could fly people into here, and Tom Segura be sitting there? That
You
would be
technically
really
have
cool.
to fly him because he is in Texas.
Regardless,
Yeah.
Private jet. There's probably
He probably would though. I mean, yeah, where I live right next to the airport, so he could private jet in.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So I just, that's my ultimate goal is just to,
So if you hear this, Tom,
yeah.
I know you watch. So,
But I was reading this one book of many, hearing, and it was saying that essentially comedy specifically and magic also are pretty much the worst self-advertisers. If you go to a comedy club, it's your job to fill the seats, to sell the tickets, etc. However, the unfair advantage, but it's also reality, is that if you're in films are the number one thing that if you're in a film, if you're acting, they do all the advertising for you. They get the most amount of eyes, and that translates directly to ticket sales. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So Joe Rogan could not be able to sell a ticket in comedy ever based off of him being like, because he was on news radio. He was on, then he was on like Fear Factor, right? For years and years and years.
before news radio, he was on
I think it was called Hardball or something.
Hardball, yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is that it doesn't discredit anything that he did. But now then he also transitioned to UFC fights. And then he actually said more than once that he actually used to tour based off of weekends that he would be doing a UFC fight. That works out perfect.
Yeah.
The UFC fight, he's there, free advertisement. So coming full swing, now he's actually doing a podcast. It's just another form of advertising, okay? And he's everywhere. He's everywhere, right?
He's basically like the Carson.
I was just, see, great minds. Don't.
Shut up, David.
Yeah, exactly. Stop cutting us off. But it's a weird thing because if I can get into acting, which would be great, hypothetically, in all reality, then that would transition into back end doing more ticket sales and stuff. The only other option you have is podcasting, which is great. Okay. However, if it's something that's more nationally or internationally known, like if you go on Joe Rogan's show, you made it. You made it. You know what I mean? If you're in a film, I think you're going to get more views if you're on one episode of Joe Rogan to sell tickets as opposed to a random film, unless you're the starring actor.
Well, because if you look at it like, I'm looking at it as a director right now. If you're on a movie, you could be in a movie that's an hour and a half long, but you only get maybe 5 to 10 minutes screen time.
Exactly.
You're on Joe Rogan, you're on there 2 to 3 hours, and most of the camera is on you. So that's what gets it. I would love to go on Joe Rogan, not as to be like, oh, I hope everybody follows me and da-da-da-da.
No,
I would love to go on and just be like, hey, dude.
Yeah, I would too. But that's a byproduct.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is that he kind of is like, has like the golden touch to where it's like if you're on his show, without any disrespect, and I'm really not, okay? I think all the comedians know, and I think I'm only saying this because I think they've also publicly said more than once, if it wasn't for Joe Rogan, they couldn't be where they are today.
Yep.
I think I've heard Tom Segura say that. Christina Pazitsky, his wife. Definitely Bert Kreischer. The only reason why I'm saying definitely is because I remember I don't even think he was telling that story about the machine.
No, he just started selling.
You remember that? And it was on his podcast, and Joe Rogan was like, I really think you should start doing it. And now he was in a film called The Machine, based off a conversation off Joe Rogan's podcast. You know what I mean? Tony Hinchcliffe, you know what I mean? So it's not to discredit. The thing is, there's a great author. Well, he's a multi-billionaire, Grant Cardone. I've told you about him before. He's got this book called The 10X Rule. And he pretty much says that regardless of how good or how great you are, two things become true. If you are Coca-Cola, you like Coca-Cola more than Pepsi?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I mean, I like both, but if I had to choose, it probably would be Coke.
Yeah, typically speaking, everybody does.
Something about Pepsi whenever I drank it is like...
Yeah. It's just different. It's just different, right? But in a world of Pepsi, if you were Coca-Cola, if you were better than your competitor and nobody knew, that's essentially more or less part of what the 10X rule is, which is you might be the best product, but not the best known. So in politics, a lot of times, again, we've said this before, right? If there's 10 people on the ballot and you've only seen commercials for one of them, even though you're here to vote for the president, you might hear about this other guy over here who's some senator and be like, I'll vote for him. I know who he is. You could completely disagree with everything about him, but it doesn't change the fact that if you're better than somebody else, and I truly believe I'm a world-class comedian. However, if I'm not world known, I'm in a vacuum. So how do you break in that barrier? And that's what we were talking about before the show started, right? There's never going to be another Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Can you imagine? What's crazy? Michael Jackson, like Instagram wasn't even out, like while he was alive.
Yeah, Instagram didn't come around until like what 2010.
So you see what I mean? Like, so I mean, essentially,
I was still in school.
Imagine how many followers. Let's just say if Michael Jackson was alive, if
he'd be bigger than Mr. Beast.
He would actually he would be the first one to have 1 trillion followers. I know there's less people than there are in the world of 1 trillion, but you know, between illegal voting and stuff, like, I'm just joking. But
well, in that, and people will make an account on YouTube and they'll follow all these people, and then they try to get back in one day, and I don't remember my password, so they just make a new account, and then it.
But I'm telling you, but how do you compete with that if you were already famous before social media started? Okay, the only way is you got to be their family or you got to network, because there's no Illuminati, right? That's just what you're doing, Illuminati. I was thinking that, there's no new talent, and you know what, like Robert De Niro could not win a beauty contest to save his life. He looks like a bag of trash, and I hate to say that because I'm not winning. I'm not winning any beauty contests either. You know who also is notably, I don't want to say ugly, but not attractive? Al Pacino, Robert Duvall, Robert Redford. Oh, a lot of Roberts, but
Yeah.
I just noticed. I
just
said
a
like
Bob thing,
Robert De Niro, Robert Duvall, Robert. Yeah. Anyway, who's another Robert?
Bob the Builder.
Yeah, right.
Originally Robert.
But it's funny because like my point is that they didn't make their buck off of their talent, right? Do you really think even in like their biggest glory day that Robert Duvall could ever? You remember he was the what's called consigliere or something like that in The Godfather? Remember that? He was like their lawyer. At no point could he ever win a modeling contest. My point is it just because they're not like ugly dudes? I'm not saying that. I'm saying in comparison to a supermodel GQ, chiseled jaw, abs, black slicked hair on the beach with like the oceans. You've seen those poses where they got like the Sunga, the little Speedo thing.
Kind of like Ryan Reynolds in 2008.
Yeah, exactly. Is that the poster on your wall?
Yes, Ben Wilder.
But my point is that they were all merit based. I love older films because you see these up and coming new actors all the time, up until like 2010 maybe.
Yeah.
You remember all the time you'd be like,
There was always somebody new.
There was always somebody new.
And then all of a sudden, and now it's just The Rock, Jack Black,
Kevin Hart.
Yeah. Oh, I'm just naming Jumanji.
Yeah. Yeah, you did. But it's weird, man, and I hate it because there's no meritocracy to acting anymore. Like actors and actresses back in the day, they would take lessons on like tap dancing and singing and playing the damn like instrument just to get an audition. They were like multi-talented and stuff, right?
Now it's like, oh, you got 1 million followers on Instagram?
Exactly right. I actually said in Game of Thrones, I think the girl that was like Sansa, whoever her name was, Sansa. You seen Game of Thrones, right?
I mean, I've seen like
the girl
half of
with
the
like
first
red
season.
hair that was long red hair.
Yeah.
Her. I think there was another book that I read called like 1 million followers and it just talked about Instagram and the power of leverage through the fact that no one's going to listen to you if you don't have a certain amount of followers. The more you have, the more likely to listen. Anyway, but they said that she was chosen for the Game of Thrones. They didn't say who. This guy was the one who did her social media account, legitimate, and he said that that ultimately after working with her for like 6 months on her social media leading up to her audition, on the back end they actually decided to do an Instagram, and because she had so many more followers than from what both the actress that got the job and him said is a much better, higher caliber actress. Okay, she got the part just based off of followers. I'm not saying she's not good. Haven't seen her anything else, I don't think, since then.
She was in the X-Men movies.
Okay, minus that. I know that.
Dark Phoenix.
What else?
She was also in my dreams the other. No.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's. I was actually thinking that my dreams was like a film you were about to say. I was like, don't make another reference of me being wrong.
You're like, all right, dude.
That's like my
I
wife
need your
says,
autism to back up a little
that's
bit.
like my wife says when like we have like a disagreement. I'll say something and she'll say that doesn't count. I'll give an example like making me be right and her be wrong, and she'll be like that does not count. And then I'll give another example. She'll be like that also just all right. Just those two bad examples are good examples that make me right and make you wrong. So yeah, she doesn't like it when I do that, but it's all right. In all fairness,
She's like, these are not the droids you're looking for.
yeah, exactly. But I don't like when she does it to me either. But I try not to care. I don't care if I'm wrong. I just want like immediate results.
I think it's just like the comedic brain, because there's times my wife will tell me something and I'll spit something back and she just looks at me and I'm like, oh, I probably should have kept that to myself.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like she'll be saying something about work and I'm like, well, why didn't you just do this?
I
And
think
she's
that's
like,
why guys are naturally funnier than girls, not because of the success, but because of the failure.
Yep.
I think guys swing a lot more, and we might get nothing but air. You know what I mean? Like we will have like the worst timing on the chance that it'll get a laugh, and everyone could bust out laughing, but 9 out of 10 times, just crickets.
I think that's what makes a best comedian though, is the one that actually has the balls to say it and then go and just like,
Too soon? Like Larry David, like too soon. Yeah. Mentioning, man, my pants. No one's going to get this. No one's going to get this. They're just going to see us going like this, and they're going to be like, I don't really,
that's too floppy. The other one was hard.
And if you console somebody like this, like, it'll be okay.
Yeah.
It'll be okay. And she just kept going. It was so like, you got to keep, and you also got to, by the way, what's her name? Sweeney? What's her
Sydney
name?
Sweeney.
Sydney Sweeney. You've been helping me out with all my names lately. Sydney Sweeney. I got to let you
Come
know
be on the
something.
pod.
Yeah, if you want to come out sometime, I will make the trip. All right.
You can sit right
I will
there.
let my wife know that you will be here too, okay? And she'll be sitting right there, and I'll probably still be married when you come.
She'll be sitting there, and we have to make eye contact with our wives. We can't look at you.
Yeah, directly.
We'll be doing the podcast
you
like
have
this.
to wear a turtleneck only.
Just the neck part.
Just David, I'm so glad you didn't miss this. Anyway, yeah. So regardless of her stunning beauty, right? I told you about this film Housemaid, where if I give you an apple, you're like, oh, that's cool, that's an apple. But if you cut that apple open and it opened up, and all of a sudden in the inside of it was like a car key to like a Lamborghini, that's what Housemaid is like. You think it's one thing. There's this film that she was in recently called Housemaid, where it's like she basically, like, there's just like a crazy like wife, right, that she's supposed to be the housemaid for, and it's supposed to be like a thriller. And let's just say you need to watch it, please, just for some feedback. Try to watch it tonight between your procrastination and not being busy. If you would have watched it last night, we could be talking about it right now.
I know.
I bet you thought about that too.
I was here until like 6 o'clock. I got here at 10 a.m. and I didn't leave until about 6.
In the morning?
Not like 10 in the morning and 6 at night.
Oh, so you had the entire night to watch it. I was like, you were here till 6 and you came back? I was like, bro, you already pulled an all-nighter. Like, no, 6 at night. You see how you just like, Your Honor, if I may approach the bench, you see how this is moments where someone tries to legitimately make it look like they did more than 8 hours work when 10 to 6 is just 8 hours. I mean, like, hey, I work from 10 a.m. to 6 at night.
When you say when you say 10 to 6, it sounds better than 9 to 5 because everybody immediately goes, "Oh, Dolly Parton."
Oh, see, I wasn't thinking about that. I do know that.
Don't sing.
Yeah, when she did her Super Bowl, or when she did something, whenever it was, the last time she did it for like the Dallas Cowboys or something, it was amazing. Everyone was talking about Housemaid, you, one day. But my point is that it starts off in one direction, and then all of a sudden it takes a left turn into somewhere completely different. And I went from thinking it would be interesting to like, it landed on a 1 to 10. I'm gonna give it a 12. It ended, I told you on the phone yesterday, it ended with an exclamation point where I was like, woo! Like, I could not believe how it ended. And I was just like, that was, you ever seen something that was so good you wanted to watch it all over again at that minute? It's been a long time. I've had stuff that I've watched where I wanted to watch it immediately. Very, very seldom. Definitely I want to watch something again if I really like it, but I'll give it like some, it's like, especially if it's been like years since you watched something, it's like really, really good. It's like you get the experience all over again. You know what I mean? It's like enough has passed, or you might watch it more often, or anyway. But Housemaid was so good. Also, something recently that do you like horror films? Dude, I love horror. Me
and my buddy have been talking about writing a little short horror film because he does like, he's got a YouTube channel where he does like food reviews, and he goes out like when a certain movie comes out, he'll go get the bucket and all that stuff. We were trying to write a horror film.
Yeah.
You should be in it.
I would love to.
The Russian.
Yeah.
Not like the ethnicity. I'm talking about like you're Russian. Like, hey, hurry up, let's get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I know. I'm definitely not Russian. I mean, I live there, but I'm not Russian. But yeah, so that was my first language, English. I mean, but yeah, no. But I love horror films, and I saw a film the other day. You ever seen a film that was so crazy that like psychologically after it, you felt like if you're going to watch it again, you needed to like mentally prepare?
Yeah.
Dude, I saw this new film with that guy that was in remember that guy that was in Step Brothers, the brother that was like mean? He was like, look at my
Adam
abs,
Scott.
I haven't had a carb since 2006. Like that guy, you know what I mean? He was in this horror film recently called Hokum.
I've seen the preview for that. Is it fucking...
Dude, it was one of the worst, best films ever. I am 4 minutes into it, and I'm like, I just wanted to leave. Like it was so good. And what I think makes such a good film, like, all right, while I'm still remembering this, I love horror films for two reasons. Number one, you're watching it in the dark and you feel like you're like encompassed with the actual experience. It feels like you're in the room where the bad guy is. Mm-hmm. Right. And it's the equivalent of like adrenaline rushes and roller coasters, but you're at your house and it's creepy. Right. But my favorite kind of film is when there's anticipation to it, because it's like stepping on the gas in the dark and just staying there. Next time you want to know what it feels like for an experience like that, turn off all your lights, drive in the country, hit the gas, and don't let go.
Should have been background me when I was 18.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So, and you're like, any second now. And the whole time watching Hokum or Hakum, whatever it's called, I'm like, any second. And then nothing happens. And then something happens. And you're like, you're like, stop it. And the whole time, I think one of the coldest.
Are you cold right now?
No, not at all.
Okay.
I think one of the coldest lines. Are you?
No, this is amazing to
I'm
me.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I think one of the coldest lines I ever heard was from a film called The Hitcher. Have you ever seen The Hitcher? It's about a guy he's a serial killer, and he just hitchhikes and kills whoever car he hitchhikes, and then he just goes to the next place, and that's all he does. He just constantly on the highway just killing, and that's just it. That's what he does. And it started off, it had this one part in this film called The Hitcher. So good, so creepy. But this is one of the creepiest things I've ever heard anybody say. But it's not just moments like certain lines like that. There's like the horror films where like fantastical, like Freddy and stuff. But they have the thrillers where like The Stranger's Prey, Chapter 1. Have you seen that? Oh, it was so intense. Where it's just like more realistic. Those are like the suspense thrillers, but they're still like horror films, right? Mm-hmm. Michael Myers, he's kind of like in between, because he's got like some weird mystical stuff going on, but it's like reality based. But anyway, so you got the suspense thriller horror genre, you got the fantastical, you got the kind of in betweeners. And Hokum was definitely on the fantastical side, but it was equal tension to my other top one of greatest films ever. More on the 100% realistic side, The Strangers, Chapter 1.
Strangers, Chapter 1.
I promise you, freak you out, nonstop, okay? But anyway, so this line from one of those other side of the horror films, the more realistic kind, it's called The Hitcher. He picks up a guy, he'd already killed some dude in a car, and his body is off somewhere, all right? And it has this boyfriend-girlfriend couple. The guy just picked the girl up for college. You can drive across country and, get married or whatever, right? And they see this guy passing down the road, and it's raining. And, they decide to pull over and to help him, as most people do, right? But the thing is, right before that situation, what happened is they actually saw him at the gas station, and I think it was like they asked him a ride, and for some reason he said like, we couldn't do it. And then at some point, I'm pretty sure they see him a second time. But anyway, point is, this guy, the serial killer guy, the Hitcher, he sees them, and he says, he pulls over to get a ride, and the guy and the girl, they pull over, and they let him in the car. And he has a wedding ring on and stuff, and it's raining, and they're like, so where are we going? He's just like, oh, just further up the road a little bit. And they're like, oh, okay, cool. And the guy, this passenger, and his girlfriend's now sitting in the back seat. It's this beautiful black sports vehicle, right? I'm setting the stage, right? It's raining, it's pitch black out, it's got the lights on, sports vehicle, hot girlfriend in the back, boyfriend in the front, psycho, come to find out, sitting shotgun. And the driver says, he looks at his wedding ring, and he says, hey, so how long have you been married? And the guy says, oh, I'm not. And he's like, excuse me? He's like, yeah, it's something that I wear so people think they can trust me. Oh yeah, and then it starts to get weird, and then he takes out a knife,
Oh.
and I'm not going to tell you what happens from that point, but the rest of the film has to do with them escaping him getting another car, and chasing them down until something happens.
Yeah.
There's nothing else like that. I was like, did you see that new rom-com with you? Yeah, right. I'm like, dude, anytime I ever see somebody with a wedding ring, that's why I don't wear mine. That's why I tell my wife, and I'm just joking. No, but I don't ever wear my wedding ring. I just don't like wearing rings. I just don't like it, you know? But anytime I see a guy with a wedding ring, I always think he's like a serial killer, which sounds so crazy.
Yeah, because it's like, where's your wife? Or husband. Sorry.
Yeah,
I didn't mean to assume.
yeah,
Sorry.
Exactly, right? But it was...
He's all like mean looking, and you're like, where's your wife? He's like,
yeah,
I'm gay. And you're like,
yeah,
oh.
it was such a creepy thing. But I love films that are just like, they're like, and that's what Hokum was. It's like you think it's about this author. You know what it's about, kind of, sort of.
Yeah, I've seen the preview for it and stuff, but...
Yeah, it's really creepy, but I thought it was crazy because in the first few minutes of just watching what this is about, you see something in the background that you're like, forget this, I'm done. We're like, it hasn't even started, and he's just like drinking like a drink, and he's like on his laptop, and I'm like, I've been in that situation a lot of times, drinking, you know, working on your laptop, wording comedy, writing. He's an author. And then he thinks he hears something over here, and over his shoulder, you see something behind him, and you're like, I'm done. We're 2 minutes into it, and my friend, who's a cop, okay, shows up 30 minutes late, and I'm thinking, like, I could have been holding your hand right now for compassion.
Yeah,
really.
You got your gun, right?
Yeah, but it was horrifying. And again, I don't think something is scary because it's graphic. That doesn't do anything for me. It's a constant anticipation and like the and that's what The Stranger's Prey is about. It's about chapter 1. You need to watch it. I'm giving you a lot of recommendations, but if I ever give a recommendation, I'm telling you it's a solid one.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, watch this YouTube clip. You're like, oh, right. So, The Stranger's Prey, if you don't have a clue, do you ever know what it's about? Chapter 1, it's about this guy and a girl who are traveling through Oregon State, and they stop by this like random podunk town or whatever, and they're approached by some weird, creepy guy, and they're like, hey, I like your car, this or that, you know, how long are you going to be here for? They start like asking questions. They're like, we're just stopping by this diner just to get some food. We're going straight through. He's just like, well, if you have any car trouble, my shop is right there. And you can see it's like a little gas station with a little car thingy, little tow truck on it, normal fixer-upper in some random podunk town. And they go in to eat their pie, and they notice that there's like these like, they walk in, and it's like everyone looks at you like you're not from here. You can't. They just get like the dirtiest stare, right, kind of thing. And they sit down, and they order their food, and the sheriff gets up and says something like, "How long you guys gonna be here for?" It's just like you're getting like the second degree, and like they're there just for minutes, right? They try to order their food. They get some, you know, pushback, just trying to order their meal and stuff like that, and then one of the waitresses is kind of cool, and then they go out to their car, and their car won't start all of a sudden. And the guy's just like, I think you're going to need that tow truck after all. Like, good thing I'm right here. He's just like, what did you do to my car? He's like, nothing. I didn't do anything to your car. And you're like, you literally. So the premise is they go back inside. This is what it's about, no spoiler alerts. And they tell him what's happening. And the girl at the diner is like, well, I actually have a buddy of mine. He actually has a cabin. You could stay there overnight. You could probably get your car fixed, or at least take it to Portland. It's a couple hours away. We'll tow it. They'll just pay for the tow. And if you can't get it fixed overnight, here. So like, all right. In the course of that night, middle of the night, they get a knock on the door. They're like, hey, who the heck is that? They're like, is Tamara there? They're like, I'm sorry. I think you got the wrong cabin. There's nobody here that name. Good night. Is Tamara there? I'm like, hey, yeah, no, I'm sorry, she's not. Then all of a sudden, But that goes on for like a couple minutes, and it just gets more aggressive. They're getting more intense, and then they're like, you know what? I'm just gonna open the door. You just see her walking away. You don't ever see what she looks like. And throughout the course of the night, come to find out, one of them is actually in there, and then it's like a slow, grinding, methodical, like noise over here, noise over there. Footsteps over here. It wasn't your boyfriend. He walked that direction. You're like, you know, and it's just a little pull here, a little push there. And then psychologically, it's just such a crazy thriller because like 99% of it, there's no violence. And it's 100% driving full speed with the gas, no lights. And there is almost nothing happens the entire time. That was the most horrifying film I've ever seen.
Just being all like,
yeah, the entire time you're watching it, like I don't want to tell you any parts. I would love to tell you a lot of different parts. I don't want to spoil for you or anybody else, but there's points where it's just like these little things that happen. Like a cell phone would be there, and she calls because like her boyfriend goes out to get some food. And again, this is all part of it. Not even telling anything, and all of a sudden, the phone was just there. Is there smoking in here? Was somebody smoking a cigarette? Like, what's going on? You check all the doors and stuff, and then you just see like one of these like leaning around a corner, and then it just keeps going, and then it goes from like at a distance to closer and closer and closer and closer and closer, and then they're just like axes breaking in the house, wanting to watch them escape, just to watch them run and stuff. It's dude, it's so crazy. It's like it takes so many spins. You know what I mean? It's like imagine somebody like breaking in this door just to watch you use that exit. All right, with like a low, hypothetically, this is, I'm just giving an example, right? And them just standing there waiting for you to leave. How intense it would be if they were just standing there with a shotgun waiting for you to walk around them to go down the staircase. And them letting you.
yeah.
The anticipation of not just getting up, but walking by them. The whole, yeah, exactly. And you're like, I'm just gonna see how far I can go, and that's all my mind can process right now. And then,
like when you're standing on when the water freezes and you're standing, you hear it crack, and you're like,
dude, it's
fuck,
like
fuck,
that.
Fuck,
like
fuck.
I hate to say it, but I hate stuff like that, and I love stuff like that. You know what I mean? So that's exactly what it is. You need to watch it. David, you've been so quiet.
For real, dude. We've been sitting here for an hour and 20 minutes.
Did you ever? I think it's been longer than that because we started before 9, right?
We've been recording for an hour and 17.
Does a bell go off? No. Okay.
I kind of just record until the person's like, all right, I'm leaving. Whether like whatever. I do have to pee. I don't know if you have to use the bathroom or anything. We could.
I'll go with you.
Oh.
Separate stalls.
Mm-hmm. We could either end this or we could just take a little break. If we end this, we could come back and then we could do like the H&D. We could talk more comedy on that one.
You know what? I got a joint idea. I'm going to take one of your ideas. Actually, I said something to a friend of mine recently.
You said you got a joint. I got excited.
A friend of mine had a bad idea, and I let him know. I was like, listen, you're 50% wrong, okay, about what you just said, plus the other 50%. You were 100% wrong. I think we could probably just keep talking and ranting and stuff like that, but I feel like it's kind of good to end on a certain high point. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So we can just, if you want, we could just call it, and we could do it next time, maybe with him, and we'll just figure it out from there.
I was kind of I was hoping he would have been all like, my bad, dude, I fucking slept in, I'm on my way or something. And then
did he answer?
No.
I hope he's okay.
I'm sure he is.
I don't want to be ominous. Yeah. Do you have any plates?
Like paper plates?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Okay.
But I'm sure there's probably some in that room in there from yesterday.
We'll try some of this cake off camera because I think it's unique, which is something you love or hate it. I actually like it. You know what's weird is I feel a little tingling down there. I feel like I do have to go to the bathroom now all of a sudden. You know, so it's perfect time. So thank you for letting me be on your podcast.
Yeah, bro. Thanks for coming on.
I appreciate it.
Shout out your podcast and everything.
Yeah, shout out to yours, both of them. What are the names of both of them?
You got Two Birds, One Stoned, and
Yeah, I knew that one.
H&D Comedy.
H&D. So, but this is a joint one. This is the first joint one. This should go on both.
It's gonna go on both.
Okay, cool. I like that.
That's why I like.
See, I was thinking that but H&D, what's the production company?
Rough Half.
Rough. What is it?
Rough Half.
Rough Half.
R
Why is it
like
called that?
RUFF, like rough, and then half.
Why is it called
HAF. Because I'm a big animal lover and I love like dogs. So like a pit bull, and they're mean. They're like rough.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then
Yeah,
half
for sure.
is my nickname, Halfa.
Yeah, right.
So
Exactly.
HAFA, and it's just I don't know. I thought it was a cool thing because, like I was telling you, I want to get a comedy night going here in Steenville, and I want to call it Roughs, Halves, Big Laughs.
You see, I get, because you have multiple names in there. You know what I mean? Like Two Bears, One Cave, right? It doesn't have a separate production name.
I thought it was YMH.
Oh yeah, you're right. No, that's his own podcast.
No, well, yeah, but
see what I'm
YMH,
saying?
but YMH Studios is the one that produces Your Mom's House, Two Bears, One Cave.
Oh, they do all of them?
They do, yeah, they do Bert. I mean, anything that's got Tom Segura, Bert, or Duncan Trussell, or Christine. I mean, anything like
Really?
that. Yeah, it's all Your Mom's
That's
House
probably
Studios.
a good business. They probably make money doing that.
Probably.
That's cool. All right. Yeah, I was going to say, I get the name of your production company mixed up with the two different podcasts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you ever thought about consolidating and just have one? Why do you have two?
Podcast? Because I started out as Two Birds, One Stoned. It was just me. And then David came
That's like
on.
what we were talking about, like the Monday morning, like the Bill Burr podcast.
And then it was like I'd had David on, and I had him on again, and then we were talking, and it was like he was like, we should like start our own, like we have the same mindset, da 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 da, and it worked, and it was going good. But then life happens. He started losing weight, and it's given him more energy and ability to do more stuff.
I mean, he just could not shut up.
I know this whole fucking conversation was just
nonstop, just my belly.
No, but and then it was just one of those. We started it, and then we also do the stunt stories, but we haven't done that in a while. But I started Two Birds, One Stoned, and that was just the podcast. Well, because I started streaming, so my name was just Half a La Jefe, and then it turned into the just Two Birds, One Stoned, and then we started H&D.
What's funny is I'm being honest with you. You can do whatever you want, but I almost feel like if you just kept one name, regardless of him being here or not, it would actually be less confusing and better, and you get more views too, because Two Birds, One Stone. It already makes me think that there's two of you, so it works out perfect, right? So I mean, only because you have the H&D and two in both podcasts. You have the number two and H&D. You know what I mean? So you can do what you want, but I also think Two Birds, One Stoned, like you're throwing a stone, and right. I feel like it's
just
more.
There's some people that I would ask to be on, and they're like, well, I can't really be associated with anything that's like smoking or stoned or whatever. So then it was like, oh, okay, well, you can come be on.
Don't tell. You can just tell them that it's not.
Like it's just a name. That's
No,
that's what I tell
you
them.
tell them it's from the phrase, not because of drugs. Because that's what I don't think about. I don't think about drugs when I hear Two Birds, One Stoned.
But it's how you say it. Two birds, one's stoned.
That makes it different.
There's apostrophe S after the one.
So
it's saying two birds, but one stoned.
We'll just rebrand it and then transition and tell the backstory behind it one day to Two Birds, One Stone.
Find out next week on Dragon Ball.
Like, dude, I'm feeling it now. It must be time.
Nine, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Damn, son.
All right, man.
All right, dude.
Call it. Thank you
Yes,
so
sir.
much. I appreciate it. was so much fun, man. Which, by the way, that's the name of my podcast. If you ever check it out, Psychological Warfare, please feel free to check it out anywhere. Psychological Warfare. It says Veteran Comedian Savage. And we're back.